Welcome to the Construction Disruption Podcast, where we uncover the future of design, building, and remodeling.
I'm Todd Miller of Isaiah Industries, manufacturer of specialty metal roofing and other building materials. Welcome to Construction Disruption, the show that explores what's new, what's happening, what's next, what's working in the construction and remodeling worlds. Today I'm joined by my co-host, our creative director, Ryan Bell. What's the scoop, Ryan?
Hey, Todd. I've got a joke for you today.
Oh, cool. I wasn't expecting that.
Maybe more of a riddle. What is lighter, a gallon of water or a gallon of butane? You should probably be able to get it.
Well, butane is a lighter fluid.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, that's a good one.
It made me laugh.
So as we remind our audience today, once again, we are doing our challenge words where each of us here on the show have been accepted a word that we are challenged to work into the conversation as seamlessly as possible. So you, the listening audience, can be listening for strange things we may say. We always say a few strange things, but listen for those strange things, and at the end of the show, we will tell you whether or not that was our challenge word. So today, we're thrilled to welcome Samantha McGuinness to the show. Samantha is founder of Enabled Consulting, a company that is helping home remodelers drive positive results by building and optimizing face-to-face lead generation departments. Her work is rooted in systematized efficiency and performance with a focus on home shows, retail locations, events, and RSVP campaigns. A 12-year veteran of the home improvement industry, Samantha equips her contractor clients with proven frameworks to reduce lead generation costs, increase issued appointments, and drive results. Samantha is trusted by many top brands, featured on national stages, and leader of the Face-to-Face Marketing Network, a results-driven membership community for forward-thinking home improvement companies. Samantha, welcome to Construction Disruption. Truly honored to have you here with us today so we can dig into some great topics for the benefit of our audience.
Thank you so much, Todd. I'm really excited to be here. This is such an important conversation right now. As everybody knows, lead generation has changed a lot, and face-to-face marketing really continues to deliver the most qualified, lowest cost in our industry, and not enough contractors are leveraging this lead source. So I'm really excited to discuss it with you today.
You know, I think it's a great topic also because I hear that so often that everyone, you ask them, well, what's your lead gen look like? And it's all about digital strategy and things. And so many people have forgotten about the things that perhaps grew their businesses, got them to where they are, and now they have tried to switch direction and they're finding it isn't working. So I'm really looking forward to our discussion. I know that you personally in your career have some history with some very recognized brands in home improvement. Tell us a little bit about how you did get started in this industry.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been in this industry forever. I built a landscape construction company back in Toronto a very long time ago, and we came from really humble beginnings. We didn't have a lot of money to put on SEO or, pay-per-click and things like that. So we did a lot of what's now deemed old school things that worked really well, and they still do. So we had to get really creative. When you don't have a lot of resources and you need results, you have to tap into what's up here to produce those results. So driving to different businesses on commercial accounts and asking them to submit a proposal. It was all face-to-face marketing. I didn't really know that's what I was doing at the time, but this was when I was in college. And so that's how I pretty much got into the home remodeling space. I also built the Renewal by Andersen of Greater Toronto's events home show retail store program from the ground up. So when I began working with Renewal by Andersen, there was no revenue. There were no walls in our office. We didn't have anything going on. And they brought me on to build the face-to-face marketing department. And within the first 3 years, we had generated $10 million in revenue annually at a cost of marketing of sub 9%. So, a lot of what I was able to do was based on the fact that we had a really strong network of companies to support me and different locations I could visit to learn from. And then I got to essentially go back to Canada and build everything take little bits of what was working from different locations and build it how I wanted to build it. And I think that's sort of my claim to fame in the industry. But now I get to teach those companies everything that I built based off tons of mistakes and lessons and systems that I built as an infrastructure around these departments.
Well, I think that's really interesting, especially coming out of RBA and having been part of what developed that. I think it's a fantastic story. So I'm kind of curious. I mean, we're hearing a lot the last several months about the difficulty of lead generation here recently, and I'm kind of curious. What are some of the trends or things that you're hearing about out there that are really kind of upping the ante in terms of the need for contractors to stay on top of their marketing, to stay on top of their numbers, to look at face-to-face opportunities? What's just some of the scuttlebutt you're hearing out there?
The scuttlebutt, my friend, is that people are paying way too much for leads right now. Companies need leads and they need to produce leads at a lower cost. And right now there's a lot of, I don't like calling this a trend, but right now a lot of companies are racing to the bottom when it comes to being involved in a bidding war, so to say, for leads, for digital leads. And I think a lot of companies are outsourcing their own success by only outsourcing to third-party vendors to provide them with leads. And, I believe in having a really strong marketing mix. I think that companies should be everywhere that they can be, with the exception of maybe a billboard, because you can't track it. However, your digital marketing and your TV or your radio will support your face-to-face marketing. And the really great thing about your face-to-face marketing is a homeowner is met with an incredible human being who is there to help you, who is empathetic, and is going to get you set up with an appointment on the spot, as opposed to just throwing something out there and hoping that you get a return from it. Face-to-face marketing allows you to ensure of that when you use the right systems to do it. And so, obviously I'm going to be speaking a lot about face-to-face marketing today, but a lot of companies are just underutilizing this lead source.
Well, I love how you said that. You talk about face-to-face, someone's there with this incredible human being. And I think that is such a great reminder to all of us of, what happens when people interact that can't happen in other ways. Well, what are some of the, let's say, the key parameters, benchmarks, metrics, as people develop their marketing mix? What are some of those key metrics they should be really watching and paying attention to?
This is a really great question because at Enabled, we track everything you can think of. When it comes to specifically marketing, we want to track cost of marketing, we want to track cost per lead issued. And then we go down deeper as well. We track a KPI called days to issued. So it's the day from when an appointment is set on to the day when the appointment results and it actually issues, whether it demos, it sells, whatever happens to that appointment, whatever the resulting is. But that metric is really important, the days to issued metric, because what it does is it gives you an idea as to whether or not you need to hire more sales reps. And so marketing and sales need to work closely together in that regard. We need to make sure that we have enough sales reps that are doing a really great job with the leads that we are providing them with and treating the customers really well and giving them a great experience. But we also need to make sure that we are managing our capacity properly. And so we market to produce the most results, but we need to make sure we have the sales team who's going to produce revenue from our marketing as well. So days to issued is it's a really important KPI we track.
Well, talking about days to issued, what do you think is a good number for that someone should be shooting for? And I'll just give a quick example. I know a company retail company, it's a one salesperson operation. They're complaining about hurting for leads, but yet I asked them the other day and people are waiting a week and a half, 2 weeks to get an appointment with their one salesperson. And I'm just thinking, that's just too long. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are that people don't have a lot of time right now. The attention span on a person is below 8 seconds. and it's probably only going to get lower. And so if you aren't available for an appointment, they're probably going to call somebody else. And we need to make sure that we have capacity to book opportunity and to help the people that need our services. My theory is that if a company has a really great product and is doing a really great job, their prospects deserve to meet with them and to buy from them. If you're not doing a great job, no problem. But we need to connect with the people who need us. And, to answer your question, I think a good days to issue it is 1. I don't think that it's necessarily always possible, but, below 3 is what we aim for.
Gotcha. Very good. Well, when your clients first come to you and start working with you, what are some of their common frustrations and, what's heavy on their minds when they first come to you?
The biggest contributing factor to a company working with us is that they need leads. Obviously, they need leads. They're paying too much for the leads that they have, or they are doing home shows. Here's a really common situation. Companies will be doing home shows, but they're not getting a return on it. They know that it's possible to get a return, but they don't know how. And it just really goes in line with some of the biggest mistakes that I see companies make when they do events and shows, and it's not having the right systems to set and qualify an appointment on the spot, as well as just who is going to work their shows for them. A lot of the time companies take sales reps or call center people and put them out into the field, and they're not necessarily trained for what we want them to produce in terms of a result.
I know that you talk about the 4 pillars, and they are all P words that kind of guide your approach to how you work with clients: positioning, precision, performance, and profit. Can you kind of reflect on a bit on each of those, or maybe how they work together, or how you approach that?
Absolutely. So the 4 Ps at Enabled are sort of the filters that we utilize to ensure that each of our clients is getting the most elite experience in working with us. And the first one is positioning. It's that we meet prospects where they are through face-to-face connections. So whether that's a grocery store, a farmer's market, so many food things involved with this, chili dogs at the food festivals, Costco stores. A lot of my clients, we help them build out their Costco program. So positioning is all about being in front of your customer, positioning your company in front of your customer through face-to-face. Then the second P is precision. That one is geared around executing with accuracy using data-driven award-winning systems, which we deploy into home remodeling companies. The fourth is performance. So we deliver unmatched ROI with cost-effective marketing strategies. So we're really not doing events and shows for brand awareness. Brand awareness is an extra on top of revenue. So if you do an event or a show using our methodology, you will be producing revenue in the week after an event. Okay. And then profit, it's empowering teams to, again, achieve the peak results, which is through results-oriented systems that produce profit.
One of the things when I think about lead gen, I always think about creativity and, how do you come up with creative ideas to generate leads, to work in face-to-face situations, whatever that might be. And a lot of times I feel that we kind of can ignore those creative moments because we start to think about everything just as numbers and processing. And I'll hear so many people say, oh, it's just a numbers game. Kind of curious, how do you help your clients with that creative process when it comes to lead gen? Do you find that every company kind of has to match their own culture, their own ethos, or whatever it might be?
I think that a lot of companies, when they start to do face-to-face marketing, they go heavy on gimmicks and they think that that's being creative. I think that sometimes we use gimmicks as a cop-out. And what I mean by that is it's creative that you are at a farmer's market as a window and door company. And it's creative that you're curating your own events and connecting with the community and doing this face-to-face marketing. Now, a lot of companies think that because they set up a booth and it looks really great and they use creativity in terms of a design, that the work is done, and that's not the case. So in fact, when we work with a company, we actually have to undo some of this creativity, and some of that looks like we don't need to always tailor our approach to the show. It's tough to scale that. If you're doing, I did 300 events a year when I was at RBA. And it's tough to, if you always need to rely on this thing that you have to bring, if it's a dunk tank, if it's or whatever it is that you're doing, if it's balloons, whatever it is that you're doing, if you have to rely on that, your team is going to think that they always need that to set appointments. And so when a company starts working with us, we actually we ask them to remove phone numbers, websites, QR codes from their branding. And I would consider that creative. It's completely the opposite of what a company or a person's nature is going to tell them to do. You think, put my phone number here, put my website here. I want people to contact me later. I don't want them to contact you later. I want the amazing team who you have spent a lot of time hiring and training to set and qualify appointments on the spot, because the likelihood of being able to get in a hold of people after the fact, it's very, very slim. So we have certainly leveraged some creative approaches when we need to in order to get into a certain show. However, the creativity is in your people.
Love it. So if I'm a contractor in Ohio and I'm working the wine and cheese show some weekend, I don't necessarily have to have everyone in my booth dressed up as Brutus Buckeye or anything, I take it. Don't have to do that, apparently. Well, I'm kind of curious, what does it look like when you first bring on a new client and start working with them? How you talked earlier a little bit about that positioning and things, but how do you get to know them? How do you connect with them and learn their business?
It's a really great question. We always start with an audit. We need to know who the company is. What are their core values as a business? Are they doing anything when it comes to charity? We believe in paying it forward at my company. We have different organizations we work with, like the Humane Society of Broward County, and we like working with a company who does contribute to the communities that they're working in. I think it's really important. People, like their homeowner prospects, like that as well. We also do an audit just in terms of finding out where they are with regards to their KPIs, their cost per lead, their close rate, days to issued again. There are about 15 KPIs that we analyze, because each one of our clients and the members of our face-to-face marketing network, I do a one-on-one or quarterly KPI review with them. So we set benchmarks with where we want to be every single quarter, and then we check in every single quarter and we go through all of those KPIs. So those KPIs play a really important part in how we coach and what we're focused on. And then we work with them on optimizing their scheduling, budgeting. We roll out our methodology to actually qualify and set appointments on the spot. And depending on where they are, it's going to kind of guide how we will guide them. But we pretty much help them with everything when it comes to compensation. How do they train? How do they retain their team? The biggest cost when it comes to face-to-face marketing is actually your payroll. It's not going to be your booth cost. And so we really want to make sure that we are enhancing a culture by creation. We need to do things to make sure that the culture is top tier. Otherwise, you will spin your wheels with high turnover.
Makes a lot of sense. I'm kind of curious, is your typical client doing most everything in-house, or are they using a lot of outside consultants already to help them with lead gen and marketing? Or is it kind of a mixed bag amongst your clients?
It's definitely more of a mixed bag. So a lot of our clients are doing all types of different marketing. We actually have a client who doesn't do any aggregators or anything like that, which is rare. Most companies are. 5 years ago, this wasn't the case though. So it's really interesting how things have changed so much. But it's pretty much a mixed bag. I would say most of our clients are at least on doing social media marketing. They are doing TV or radio or both. And then, of course, all of the digital marketing as well.
Speaking of your clients, can you tell us one memorable success story where you've really helped a remodeling company grow and expand?
All of my clients are my favorite clients. One of my favorite clients,
Good for
they're
you.
called they're called Lifestyle Home Solutions. They're actually a jacuzzi dealer out of Canada, and they are an incredible company with incredible people. They hired me some years ago, and because they had a Costco partnership, and they originally had outsourced the on-site staff at the Costco stores to a third-party company. And when they began working with me, they were doing 15 Costco road shows a year. And now we helped them scale to over 30 road shows per month. So they've since expanded into several other markets. And now they're able to control their field marketing, which has played a huge role in that. One of the biggest compliments that I get when I work with a company is that our systems that are strictly focused on events, home shows, retail stores are benefiting their company in all areas and helping their company scale in all areas. So they'll take our budgeting tools or our interview questions or our SOPs and all these things, and they'll deploy them into other departments like the sales team, the call center team, and even install and operations. And I consider that a huge blessing to be able to bless them in this way beyond what they've even hired us to do.
Any fun trends you're seeing out there in terms of face-to-face marketing today? Something that someone might say, gee whiz, I never thought of that or never heard of that before.
Post 2020, people want human connection. And some people go to events just to take content, to go and post on their social media. And I think that really gives the vendors at events, home shows, and retail stores a cool opportunity to be noticed in different ways without having to go, hey, I'm on social media, or, they can just be at the event in a show and they're in the crossfire, so to say. And so you might end up being promoted just by fluke. I think that's really cool. Another interesting thing is that being authentic is coming back in style. And I think that people want more of that more than they ever have. Being, 2020, 2021, even into 2022, people were really isolated, and some still are. And I think that, just craving that human connection and an authentic experience, when we're discussing things like AI, there's deep fake that, I know Gary Vee was saying in X amount of years, you're not even going to be able to tell if it's a human you're speaking to online or not. And I think that something that's really cool it's weird that it's a trend, but just authenticity in general is coming back in style. And I think that's awesome. And I think that the value of human connection is only going to skyrocket. So I'm bullish on real human connection. And I think that homeowners want that as well.
I promise I was just going to ask you how important you thought authenticity was in coming out in this creative stuff. And I feel the same way about AI. And I think as humans, we're going to get tired of it. It's going to be so obvious and we're going to be so tired of it. And we're just drawn to connection with each other. So you read my mind and I didn't even get to ask the question.
Isn't that crazy, though, to imagine that here we are thinking we may have to prove to someone that we're real in order to
Right.
be authentic.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Well, I'm kind of curious. Why do you see the home improvement industry as being something that's, really a good opportunity for entrepreneurs? You've been in the industry a long time, and I'm just kind of curious, what do you like about this industry?
The home improvement industry, to me, it gives people a direct line between effort and outcome. And my favorite part about this industry is that it's transparent. So if you are really great, people will know. And if you are not good at all, people will know that. And I think that it's extremely important. There's a lot of industries where you can kind of fake the funk, and home remodeling isn't one of them, not to mention the valuation element. So there's a lot of revenue to be made in home remodeling. I read that I think by 2037, the remodeling space is supposed to generate over $7 billion in revenue. And so, the other thing is just there's many things that we can leverage tech from, and we can utilize AI for, but as of right now, installing windows and a roof and a bathroom remodel and these sort of things, we need people for. And so I'm super bullish on the home remodeling industry for that reason.
I love it. And the impact, I always tell people, you're not just changing someone's home, you're changing their life in a lot of situations. And I know my wife and myself, we measure those times we did major projects to our home. Those have become the benchmarks that we consider everything else, along the timeline of our life together. So big impact for sure. Well, Samantha, it's been a real privilege to have you with us here today. Thank you so much. Is there anything we haven't covered today that you definitely wanted to share with our audience here on Construction Disruption?
Absolutely. Just that I think in general, face-to-face is not old school. Yes, it worked 20 years ago and it works now. And it's the future-proof channel. Again, the authentic connection with human beings, it really matters, and the value of that is only going to increase, not in just building up your brand or your company's reputation, but doing the right thing by people and producing revenue. So it's a win-win for everybody. And I'd also just like to add too that if companies aren't controlling their leads, then they're not able to control their business. And being able to create your own opportunities is an incredible blessing, and doing it the right way will benefit your prospects and your company as well. So if companies need our services, we're certainly happy to help to do that.
Well, it's been a great time together, and we're going to get your contact information here in just a moment. We'll put it in the show notes as well. But before we close out, I have to ask if you're willing to participate in something we call rapid fire questions. So these are just 5 kind of random questions we're going to throw at you, and you can just give your response. You up to the challenge?
I'm up for it. Let's do it.
Awesome. Ryan, you want to ask the first one?
I would love to. Question number 1. What's a product or service you've acquired recently that's kind of been a game changer for you?
My Alexa. This is old school. I should have done this a long time ago. And the reason why is I read a book recently on the hidden messages of water. I don't know if you guys have read it, but this man did a study on water, and he spoke kind words to the water, froze it, and analyzed it under a microscope. And he shows pictures of the water that was spoken kind words to, that had negative words even pictured on the water. So he would write something not nice, and he taped it to the water glass, and he took pictures and studied this water over time. And he studied how water responded to, really harsh, like heavy metal music or classical music, like Beethoven and Mozart and things like that. And the water that had the kind words and the beautiful classical music is beautiful. It was like gorgeous, almost snowflakes by design. Whereas the water who didn't have nice words, who had really harsh sounds, was looking kind of scary. And so in my home now, we have classical music constantly, and I just feel like I'm vibrating at another level.
That is amazing.
I've heard of that with like plants before, but not water.
I need to know more about that. So second question, maybe it's what you just talked about. What's a must-read book that you recommend to business leaders?
Oh my gosh. I probably finish 4 books a month. I read a lot, and at a certain point, all of the books merge into one.
I understand.
A book that's really important to me, it's called Outwitting the Devil. I think it's Napoleon Hill, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. It's a really great book because, in our minds, we can control a lot. We can control if we're in heaven or hell in our minds. And to me, that book was really impactful in that way, because I think that you can be your worst critic and you can change your life in a negative way or a positive way. And that book is a really great testament to that.
I just added that one to my list.
Very neat. I need to check that out too.
Question number 3. Are you a dog or cat person?
Oh my gosh. I am such a dog. I have 2 dogs, and I love them. Their names are Oliver and Olivia, and they're brother and sister, and they're the most amazing part of my day. I know I sound like a freak. I love them so much. We actually, when I moved to Miami, I began going to the Humane Society just to volunteer and do certain things. And I realized there's so many dogs there that they're all perfect. and they have no home. And it's like, and when you go and you see them, they all are just perfect, amazing animals. So now at our face-to-face marketing network, every time a new company joins us, we actually sponsor a dog in their honor. So we have a partnership with the Broward County Humane Society, but now we have decided that whichever county our client's in, we will form a partnership with that Humane Society and sponsor a dog in their market, because the Humane Society is really great at marketing as well. So we like to do little things like that, because I am definitely a dog person, to answer your question, clearly.
I have to ask a follow-up question. What kind of dogs are they?
Cockapoos.
Cockapoos. My parents used to have a cockapoo.
Best ever.
Yeah.
Very neat. Okay, next to last question. What is your favorite meal?
I love food too much to answer this question. It's going to be really ripe mango or crab legs, clam linguine. Oh my gosh, I love food, guys. This is just, yeah, I love food. I think I would say a really ripe mango or crab legs. There is a tie there.
Oh, very cool. Good answer.
Okay, last question here. At the end of your days, what do you hope to be remembered for?
Oh my gosh, this is a very important question. I think just somebody who lived for God and not for the world.
Amen.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Well, you're well on your path to that. Samantha, thank you so much for making a difference out there in our industry and making a difference in the world. Thanks for what you're doing to help build a lot of remodeling companies to thrive and grow prosperously into the future. If folks want to learn more about you or about Enabled Consulting, what are the best ways for them to do that?
The best ways are to visit our membership page, which is face-to-facemarketingnetwork.com. That's a very long domain name, I know. We also have an in-person intensive on October 9th in Miami, where I will be coaching all day long. We have a couple other companies who will be there as well, but it's all geared towards coaching, helping companies either refine or roll out their home show events retail store program. We're giving you the sauce on that day. To sign up for that, you'll go to ftftraining.com. and it'll be a game-changing day in Miami together.
And what was the URL for the you said there were a couple of hyphens in there, face-to-face marketing?
There are no hyphens,
okay.
So it's just face-to-facemarketingnetwork.com.
Okay, awesome.
And that's our membership. So with that membership, we have a network of companies. We coach them twice a month at minimum. We have 3 tiers to that. Some have one-on-one coaching, but it's a network of companies to just deploy our system. There's an online learning system. It's extremely valuable to help support managers who are in these positions.
Very cool. Well, we have a URL for roofingforhomeownersassociations.com. Now I'm going to have to count letters to see whose is longer, because they got to be pretty similar there. Good stuff. Well, thank you again so much for being with us today, Samantha. This has been great.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome.
I'm pleased to say we were all successful at working in our challenge words. Samantha, you got yours in first, and your word was?
My word was corn dog, and I made sure I got it in first because I was going to forget otherwise.
Or maybe chili dog. Corn dog would be good. Well, I think we've done corn dog before, haven't we, Ryan?
I think so.
We have.
Yeah.
Did I say corn dog or did I say chili dog?
You did it right. You had chili dog. Perfect. And Ryan, your word was?
Authenticity.
Which got said numerous times during this episode. And my word was Buckeye, which I figured out a way to work in. I didn't even have to make it plural. So,
what was the other word you said? Scuttlebutt?
Scuttlebutt. I think everyone probably thought that was the word, didn't they?
For sure, yeah. I had to think, like, wait, that wasn't one of the words, was it? Because it caught me off guard.
That's just the weird way Miller talks. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I've never used that word before until today, so thank you for that experience.
And thank you to our audience for tuning into this very special episode of Construction Disruption with Samantha McGuinness of Enabled Consulting. Please watch for future episodes of our show. We always have great guests just like Samantha. Please leave a review or give us a thumbs up, whatever works best. But until the next time we're together, keep on disrupting, keep on challenging, keep on looking for better ways of doing things, and don't forget to have a positive impact on everyone you encounter. Make them smile, encourage them, powerful yet simple things we can do to change the world. So God bless and take care. This is Isaiah Industries signing off until the next episode of Construction Disruption.
This podcast is produced by Isaiah Industries, manufacturer of specialty metal roofing and other building products.